So, yes.
Do you save your seeds and restart them the next year?
I let, if nature does it for me, I do, but I haven't done very much of that. So the answer to, but I'd like to. That's one of the things that I would like to. Normally the things that I would be most apt to do that with are crops that require isolation, so it's a little bit more work. Like when nature does it, I've ended up with some very unusual squashes, which is my husband just loves. He thinks it's fun. But I like to know a little bit more about what I'm getting. And I do try to do open pollinated seeds, which means that the farmer who grew them, I could save seeds if I needed to.
Good.
Do people understand that term, open pollinated? Which means if they're not a hybrid, so that if you plant the seeds from those plants, you'll get the same crop that of the seed that you planted. So you can reproduce those plants yourself.
Yeah, there's a lot of seeds out there that are 1 year,
Yeah.
one grow.
1 year only.
You don't use genetically modified or Roundup Ready corn? Or
There's two. I'm glad you brought this. We're probably out of time, so those of you who need to leave, feel free, because we're just about at the end. But there's two ways. You're welcome. There's two ways that, if you will, plants are genetically modified. One is if you're not an open pollinated, then you can be a hybrid seed, which means that there were two varieties of the same species, interbred, if you will, to produce a new plant. And that occurs in nature all the time. And breeders will do that. And up until recently, that was the only way that you would get a genetically modified plant, if you will.
Well, that's how they got pair out. They splice together.
Right. Or you could do the grafting kinds of things.
Correct.
Now, however, what's occurring is that they are taking genes from totally unrelated organisms and inserting them into the seed, into the genetic makeup of those plants.
Right.
And I don't want to get too political.
It's scary.
It's very scary, because the company doing the most of that is Monsanto.
Monsanto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
look it up online. It's
no. This is part of the issue. This is a big part of the issue, is that they're not telling you what crops they're doing that to.
Soybean and corn. And
Soybean and
it's
corn
in
are the two
everything.
big ones. And so if you're eating a processed cereal, cornflakes, something like that, chances are you are
pretty
eating
much anything you buy off the shelf in the store has got soy and corn in it.
Yeah, you pretty much are getting those organisms. That DNA could be coming from a bacteria.
Well, they do. They
Roundup Ready crops. So
and this is another issue too.
Yeah.
So they're doing, one of the reasons they're doing that is so that they can spray this Roundup all over their fields, and it will kill everything except the plants that their alfalfa or the corn or whatever that has this.
They use botulism to fuse the
Roundup.
So you know more about it than I do. But
Yeah.
one of the things is that's got me really okay. I get going on it is that they have patented that genetic material. And so when the pollen from those crops blows into a neighbor's field, and he's trying to save the seed from his alfalfa crop, they'll sue him
That's right, and take his farm.
and take his farm. Exactly.
Hundreds of farmers in
going out of
Kansas
business.
are gone.
So
All of Iowa.
yeah, it's not a good situation. So one of the
Watch out what
reasons for
seed you buy.
growing your own food is food safety. And in addition to all of the other stuff we have to worry, like, you know, all the salmonella and E. coli and everything else, we now have something else.
Ed Hume seeds are totally organic.
Good. Yeah, that was the other thing. Of course, you know, for those of you, many of you, this is the first class, but I mentioned that before. Buying seeds, if you want to know what variety of seeds grow best in this area, pick the ones from a local company. Ed Hume is a good one. Territorial Seeds is another good one. If you're concerned about saving your own seeds, look for the OP, which means open pollinated.
Right.
And then this, at the end, I explain what these different abbreviations mean.
You mentioned amaranth.
Yes.
And I see quinoa here.
Yes.
Is amaranth not an April plant then?
Well, okay. In the books, a lot of this comes from books and the materials that put out by the WSU Extension. They say you need to wait until the summer, you know, till weather warms up to plant that seed. I can tell you I've got seeds that have self-perpetuated themselves from the amaranth that are coming up right now.
Okay.
So, as a master gardener, I'm supposed to present information based on research, and research only. But my personal experience says that the stuff will grow now.
Okay.
It all depends on the weather.
All right, so more to come. I mentioned already I do these classes every month here at the country store because we had suggestions to do soil and compost, and someone asked, and I'm going to give you a carrot to come next time. How can you tell if packaged compost has that herbicide in it? I have an answer to that question, and I'll be giving it in my next class. I found it. And warm season crops, what to plant in May, so that will be May 1st. June 5th is harvesting your vegetables and what to plant for fall and winter harvest. And then the July class, please make note, this is not occurring the first weekend in July. My daughter's having a baby. Oh, be a grandma. She has a little boy. And the baby's due July 3rd. So I got to give myself time to do that. So, thank you all. Yeah, I got my priorities.
Good job.
We're taking soil temperature. The temperature varies. So how do you, is it the minimum temperature?
Actually, the soil temperature doesn't change very much, and that's the reason for doing soil instead of air temperatures.
Yeah.
So even on a warm sunny day, you can
Yes.
go out in the middle of the day and take the
I
temperature.
tempered it in the morning.
Take it in the morning.
Take it in the morning. 2 months, it was the same temperature.
Are there better or worse soil thermometers?
Well, I've got one. I've only used one, and it has a casing around the thermometer which protects the thermometer, but then the dirt gets stuck between the thermometer and the casing. So I don't know that one. And I bought it here, but I haven't seen the soil thermometer this year, so I don't know.